Sports with Joe. Good evening, everybody. It's your host, the one and only, the magnificent Josh Evans. No, I'm just kidding. You don't got to call me that. But we do have a lot to talk about today. Starting, I'm going to jump right into it. Chiefs stop Aaron Rodgers and the undefeated Green Bay Packers. Nobody, and I mean nobody, saw this coming. Maybe 1% of the population, and that's just the girls who like to pick the underdogs in the local pools. I think those are the only people who picked the Chiefs to stop the undefeated Green Bay Packers. I cannot believe it. At first, when I saw the score, I didn't actually watch the game. I figured, maybe the coach, Mike McCarthy, benched Aaron Rodgers, and he didn't play. That's why the Chiefs beat him. But no, Rodgers played the whole entire game, and the Chiefs still won. Earlier this week, the Chiefs fired the head coach Todd Haley, leaving Romeo Crennel as the interim head coach, and the Chiefs responded. Former Bronco Kyle Orton threw for 299 yards, no touchdowns, but hooked up with Leonard Pope on a big play to set the Chiefs up for a touchdown late in the game. A lot of this game had to do with possession. The Green Bay Packers never really got going. The Chiefs had the ball 11 minutes longer than the Packers did, 36-11 to the Packers only 23 minutes and 49 seconds. And that's really the key to beating the Packers, as you can see, is a successful ground game, keeping Rodgers off the field. The Packers defense is not the best defense we've ever seen. Everyone knows that. They give up a lot of points in the air, a lot of yards through the air, a lot of yards on the ground. They're just not a very good defense. But Rodgers bails them out, kind of like the Manning and the Colts did when their Super Bowl run. The defense was awful, but Manning was able to bail them out over the course of the year. That's what the Packers are with Rodgers this year. However, the Chiefs were able to keep Rodgers off the field, therefore eliminating that element of the game, and the Chiefs went on to beat Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, who are undefeated no more. Still in great shape going into the playoffs, though, and still my Super Bowl pick. Not likely that many teams can shut him down again like the Chiefs did. Over to the big topic, the big game of the week, Patriots versus the Broncos. The Pats were able to lock up Tebow. Finally, someone could do it. Tebow played a great game, though. Not a lot of frustration from Broncos fans or that Broncos organization with Tebow. He played great, threw for 11 to 22, 194 yards, had 12 carries for 93 yards and 2 first-quarter touchdowns. Brady, the New England quarterback, was 23 of 34, 320 yards and 2 touchdowns. This game basically goes down to the Bronco D and the Bronco turnovers. Broncos were without safety Brian Dawkins, leaving 2 rookies starting at safety, Quentin Carter and Raheem Moore. That's a big reason why Brady went big for 320 and 2 touchdowns. Also, the Broncos were off to a great start in the first quarter, up 16-7. That's when the Patriots started dominating. They fumbled twice in the second quarter, early in the second quarter, in their own territory, which led to 14 unanswered Patriots points. And then, at the end of the first quarter, Quinn Cosby fumbled a punt deep in their own territory, and the Patriots went ahead and kicked a field goal on the next play to end the half. Denver had 167 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. 167 yards rushing should be a game total, and that was in the first quarter. If the Broncos could have kept that up the entire game, who knows who would have won that one? High-scoring Patriots offense, but a great first quarter by the Broncos. They just couldn't finish it with the second, third, and fourth. Little bit of a fourth quarter comeback again with Tebow. Drove him down the field for a touchdown, but it was too little too late as the Patriots went on to beat the Broncos. Taking a look at the AFC West, Denver still sits in first place with the Oakland loss to Detroit. Denver at 8-6, Oakland at 7-7. San Diego got a big win Sunday night against the Ravens, moving to 7-7 in a tie for second place with Oakland. And Kansas City is actually still in the playoff race at 6-8. And they're the lone team with the tiebreaker over the Denver Broncos. So all 4 of the AFC West teams are still in the mix with 2 weeks to go. Denver plays at Buffalo next week. Oakland is at Kansas City. San Diego is at Detroit. And like I said, Kansas City will be hosting Oakland. Interesting slate of games going on. The Broncos control their own destiny. If they win out, they are in the playoffs, winning the AFC West. Oakland needs a Denver loss to make the playoffs. So they do not control their own destiny. They forfeited the right to do that. If Denver goes to Buffalo and loses, and Kansas City beats Oakland, that'll set up a Week 17 matchup between Kyle Orton and Tim Tebow for the playoff spot in the AFC West. Kyle Orton and Tim Tebow, the same duo that was fighting for the number one spot back in June and July in the Denver Broncos training camp, could be playing for a playoff spot. Think about the headlines for that game in the papers. Denver, however, faces a Buffalo team that gave up 245 yards rushing to the Miami Dolphins. 205 to Reggie Bush alone. And of course, Denver with Tebow, McGahee, Ball, Jeremiah Johnson leads the league in rushing. So, doubtful that Buffalo will be able to stop the run and beat the Broncos, but it is a home game. Denver's had 2 emotional games in a row. It's possible they could lose. Not likely, but possible. Denver basically needs to win to get in. Everyone else is crossing their fingers that Denver loses. Interesting in the AFC West. 49ers and Steelers playing right now. Couple of power failures early at Candlestick Park. One before the game during pregame warm-ups. They got the power back on and the game started. Halfway through the second quarter, power went out again in the middle of the game. They're back underway now, and hopefully we can finish the game. Roethlisberger has already thrown 2 interceptions, and the Niners capitalized with 3 points on one of them, so Niners lead 3-0. In other news, the Indianapolis Colts finally got a win. However, they're still in position for the number 1 draft pick, which many people think they should draft Luck with. Personally, I see Andrew Luck as the new Aaron Rodgers. Draft him. Let him sit behind Manning, who's 36 years old, by the way. Manning only has a few years left to do his thing before he's going to be too old to do it. Just ask Brett Favre. Have Luck sit behind Manning like Rodgers did with Favre, and then hopefully be as successful as Rodgers is with the Packers right now. Luck, unlike Rodgers, will be the first overall pick. Rodgers was not. Alex Smith was. But it's to the same effect. Both great quarterbacks. One out of Stanford, one out of Cal. Interesting weeks to come in the NFL. A lot more to talk about. Hope you guys keep listening. Sports with Josh, everybody. Y'all have a good day. Sports with Josh.